We're calling this bonus a powerful constitution. When you think about a constitution, most countries have one. It defines what they're about. Mostly they were written in the beginning when things were formed, when they decided they'd had enough of the old way and wanted to set parameters for how they were going to move forward as a community, as a country. When we think of our own personal constitution, we hear that a lot. It might be considered maybe an unconscious, not a mission statement, but what we go to when we access what it is that we want to be, do, or have moving forward. We spoke about it during the free call, I believe Saturday. We were talking about most people look to what's showing up for what's possible. And that's not a good idea, depending on circumstance, belief systems, what we carry, and what's showing up. So when we want to have a powerful constitution, we want to be able to access the all that is. Now, I feel in my heart, see what you feel, that you already have within you, whether it's dormant, whether it's hidden, but it's there. All possibility as far as your constitution goes. So we want to be able to access that. So as you know, this work is about releasing, clearing, resolving the things that limit us from seeing and experiencing what is in our heart, right? They say a lot of our DNA is not even being used, right? It's dormant. I don't know that that's exactly true, but to some degree we could say that. And they even say that about the brain, that we use 10, 20% of the brain, depending on who you talk to, the latest study. But we want to access everything. We want to be so powerful in who we are, not power over others, but powerful in our sense of what we want in our heart, what serves us, shows up. And ideally with a compressed time space, right? We talk about the wormhole to manifesting, being able to bridge. And the infinite, the creator, source of all that is, has that ability. Of course it does, right? So you're created in that image, so why isn't it showing up? So whatever constitutes our reality, our way of being, our beliefs, what we have access to, if I'm going to make a souffle and all I have is some nails, dirt, and maybe an egg, right? That's what's going to constitute my souffle. I want to have access to the master refrigerator. And that's really what the creator is. In the sense of whether you grew up Jewish, agnostic, or something else, the story of Jesus walking through the leper colony is such a great story. It just really personifies what we're talking about because, I wasn't there, I don't know. But in the story, he walked through and they got well, he didn't get sick. Now, we could say it's kind of like a basement where maybe most of it's cordoned off. And we don't have access to what's cordoned off. We want to lift the stanchion, the rope. We want to open the doors to what serves us. And our dormant abilities, our innate right, birthright, if you will, so that we can move forward powerfully and have what it is that's in our heart show up. An immune system is a perfect example of a person's constitution. Do we have access, right? We want to have special teams, right? We want to have not just hippies at a music festival do our security. That has its place. But I'm talking about a SWAT team that goes in your body that knows how to handle anything. Sorry, you don't belong here. Peaceful negotiation. They're out of there, whatever that is. And so we want to have that access. We want to know that it's there for us when we need it. So we're going to offer clearings to resolve any limiting beliefs, any unresolved burden, things that maybe happened in our life lineage, and possibly other soul experiences, other time, space, and dimension, where there was misuse of power. Maybe there was bullying. There weren't healthy boundaries. Maybe we didn't get what we needed. Maybe the constitution that we had growing up didn't have access to a lot of what we're referring to. But we don't want to refer to what's showing up for what's possible. So when we access the creator, whatever that is for you, when we access that ultimate refrigerator as we're making our souffle, it's handled. And I'm not making any medical claims right now with this bonus. I'm not saying what's going to happen for you, but let's at least give ourselves the best shot. Even if we address 5 or 10% of what we carry, right? the ship is going to end up in a completely different port when you adjust the course even 1%. And hopefully we're adjusting more than that. So we just want to stretch you a bit in the sense of what's going to serve you. We want to offer these clearings. They will be silent, as we usually do for the bonuses. And notice what you feel. Notice sensation. Maybe there's a peace in life. Maybe there's something where we feel we don't have free will. Maybe our body isn't responding in its perfect form that we need it to. Maybe we grew up with allergies. Maybe we grew up in a family that had a less than perspective in the community. Just because whatever happened doesn't mean it has to keep happening. If we don't carry it, it's not there. So this is about releasing, clearing what doesn't serve us, and enlivening and awakening and illuminating what does. So again, notice your sensations, notice what you feel when you consider life, what's showing up in our life. There's a lot going on right now, of course, for most people. And it's a blessing in the sense that it is bringing stuff up so that we can resolve it. We can feel our way through instead of trying to figure it out, think our way through, ruminate, put our attention on things we can't control. Those are a great recipe for a souffle that doesn't have all the ingredients that we need, right? Something that doesn't taste good, and I probably wouldn't want to eat it. Neither would you. So this will be silent, as I said. We'll let you look at this background instead of me. So enjoy. So if you're new, I want to talk a little bit about what the clearings are. It might be confusing to you. And also the value of sensation. So when we say clearings, what we're doing is we're working in the background of what we see in physical reality. We're accessing the creator, higher power of your understanding, the all that is, consciousness, whatever you want to call that. And then we're working with the different dynamics of what leads to what's showing up. It's like the cause and effect of physics. We use a lot of different techniques in the background in the other realms besides the physical and what we can see in our reality. And one of the big ways we address burden or limiting beliefs, hurts, things that we carry, things our body, nervous system remembers, is forgiveness. And it's not the traditional forgiveness. That's why we don't talk about it a lot, because most people think, oh, I know what that is. But it's really a powerful tool, we could say, that illuminates shadow in these areas that lead to what shows up. So forgiveness means to forego, it means to offer up. So in the sense of maybe some condition, we can't claim to work on a virus, for instance. But what we can look at is all the symptoms, all the things that come up about it, beliefs, things like that, anything that creates stress, anything that could block the immune system from functioning powerfully. And so we look at that and work our way through as to what those things symbolize and where they could have come from in our life experience, our ancestral experience, family lineage, and of course other time, space, and dimension. Which sounds a little woo-woo, but it's really not. It makes sense because what we have access to with the mind is such a small part of who we are. What we see physically is a tiny part of what's going on. So if we don't address these other realms, and most people are focusing specifically on what's showing up, right? They're focusing on, well, it's my spouse, that's the problem. Well, it didn't start there. So if we don't address the root, if we don't address where a lot of these deeper pieces came from, they tend to come back. They don't tend to resolve fully. And so we do that. And a lot of what we're doing is accessing from different angles this burden and illuminating it, sort of like shadow. When you take a flashlight to shadow, it's handled. And so we want to do that. And so when we offer forgiveness, we could say prayers. If you're not religious, that's fine. You don't have to be. But they access this deeper burden from a very specific, very multi-angled way. And a lot of times it can compress the time-space experience where something can show up really quickly. We don't make a claim, and as I said, I don't claim to work on anything medically, psychologically, or anything else. I can't. But we have a lot of reports from people, and I say a lot, of getting help in this way through that process. So we offer silent clearings in addressing the different aspects of burden, the different hurts that, as we said, our body remembers, nervous system remembers, and other parts of us, maybe even the soul, carries to some degree some of these old hurts. And of course the DNA, which is part of our physiology. So the prayers, or these energetic intentions, if you will, are to resolve a lot of this hurt so that we can show up powerfully, we can show up in our life, get our free will back, end suffering, wake up, all the beautiful things that we probably came here to experience, right? Not suffering. That's not why we came here. As far as sensation goes, we move from the realm of emotional labels, judgments, what we understand, and we move into a direct experience of sensation, which is just feeling and noticing what's here and taking that spin of judgment. When we judge what we feel, it's one of the biggest issues with humanity. It's one of the biggest dilemmas, and it doesn't serve us. We want to feel what we feel. So many people are trying to fit the life experience in the brain, in the mind, and not only that, they're referencing what's already happened or what's showing up for what's possible moving forward. So when our RNA or our immune system's working, we want it to have full access to all the tools that it needs to handle what's coming in. And that's a powerful way to be in every area of life, not just with our immune system. So that's the short version. We want to explain that for people that are new. And of course, we get more into this on our weekly call series and our other programs, and supporting you, giving you tools to help you address what comes up when life throws us things, because it can, right? Things can happen unexpectedly. We don't want to get knocked down 20 notches. It's okay to take a step backwards, but we keep moving, right? We keep evolving, we keep growing, we adapt. And that's a powerful way to be.